look at the time.
Andre!
You bloody idiot. You do know that, once the StreamYard was updated, when you actually go live and play the intro, you're live. So when people who are watching this video later on, or even maybe now, they'll get your idiot. What's the word? You being an idiot. Hanjay, what's that all about? I know you're craving for attention.
I was a mute.
I know you're craving. Well, you're trying to speak to yourself. You're trying to clear your throat. Honestly, man, I've told you so many times, bloody act professional. No wonder we're bloody flipping losing followers every other day. You have to beg, literally beg for subscribers.
We're losing them because you're fucking always hosting. That's the problem. And no one likes the way you host.
Shall I explain? Shall I explain what was going on backstage?
Carry on.
Shall I explain what was going backstage? Huh?
My hands are clean. It was him.
Your hands are clean. No, it wasn't. It was you. Anyway, I think we've got an audience. There's 181 people watching. Welcome back. Way back. I hope you're appreciating the content that we're giving you at the moment, especially us three. We day in, day out. I was about to say week in, week out, but Atik's in the house, nice and early, bomber straight up. You might get a few bombers tonight, judging by what was being discussed on backstage, but it was just getting a bit of a clearance. And Avi, by the looks of it, or by the sounds of it, was clearing his throat. But I must go to my my ever-present duo, Avi and Gene, both wearing a cap, one red, one black, but different teams. But Avi, what's going on, man? It's been a really quiet day. I don't know if you caught the afternoon show, but we were living off scraps today when it comes to news.
I did actually watch it the first thing in the morning when I got my coffee and I logged in. Actually had you on the TV. So obviously we're talking about Darwin, and we'll go into that. It's a weird one because I think yesterday you mentioned it as well that we need to find some suitors for Darwin outside of Saudi because it seems as if he wants to stay in Europe. I think Diaz is probably the one who could be enticed by Saudi, but obviously he dreams of an aspiration to play for Barcelona. So we'll get into it. We'll definitely discuss those two and. Another week, another Wirtz week that we're hoping for some kind of legitimate bomber or confirmation that we have finally agreed a deal for Leverkusen. And remember, in the background, we're still working on Wirtz Kerkez as well. It'll be interesting to see how far apart we still are with that deal.
Okay, are we far apart?
Look, I always have explained. I think we were at some amount apart with Bournemouth for Wirtz Kerkez. I think it was a difference of 10 to 15 million. We had a set price for him. They've obviously said that he's worth this much. And look, he's probably in form, second, third best left back in Europe, maybe behind Nuno Mendes of PSG. So, they rightly so can demand big money for him. But obviously the way we work, we always try to wiggle it down and, dwindle the numbers around and put on some incentives and add-ons. I think that deal will be agreed eventually. It's the Wirtz one that I think we need to get over the line. I think with Wirtz, it is final stages. If they're saying they're 5-7 million apart, that will all be locked in with the righteous sort of incentives that like Leverkusen want.
Okay, Aki's in the house. He says Asim and his shirts are always taking center stage. It's not my fault these guys can't get a sponsorship. They're all coming for me, but we'll talk about
can't get sponsorships. Pura come make it. I'm the one that's got all the sponsors, and this guy's come today saying I can't get sponsors. That's some bad news. Anyway, sponsors coming soon in the next few weeks. You'll know all about them. They're all mine, by the way. He ain't done jack shit.
Gene's the salesman. Gene, talking of sales, Luis Diaz, apparently Al-Nassr are preparing an 85 million euros bid. I think it equates to around just over 70 million pounds. We've been talking about Diaz for a year now. His output, his age, his contract, his father, his intentions and his wishes to play for Barcelona. Are we reaching a really critical moment in the future of Luis Diaz as a player and as a player at Liverpool Football Club?
Yes, if I'm honest, I think that obviously the news came out from Ben Jacobs that Liverpool, that Al-Nassr do want Luis Diaz. I think this isn't a deal that it needs to be done in the next couple of days, but he is their number one target. They're aware Liverpool don't really want to sell him, that they've already rebuffed Barcelona's approach. So it'll be an interesting one, but we know that if a team puts down the money, that Liverpool will look at it, and I think Luis Diaz will definitely look at it. Of course, Luis Diaz is going to want the Barcelona move. We've heard his dad speak about moving to Barcelona at some point in his career. He's 28, on the lowest of contract. This is his last one. He needs to decide what he wants to do. But I'll be honest with you, Asim, the more I think about it, the more I want him to stay. I don't really, but I don't want him to go, Asim. I did, and I know me and Aviv have had all our different, we have a go. But when I look at it, sometimes I think, nah, man, just keep him. We're bringing in Florian Wirtz. If my issue right now is trying to get rid of Darwin Nunez. If I'm straight with you, if Darwin goes, okay, TK, then we need to start looking. If we're struggling to offload Darwin, Diaz is then goes. Few of the players might have already gone away. Who are we really going to go and sign? I don't really want too many changes, but if an offer came in for 85 million euros, we have to accept. And I think the offer will come.
I think that's what it is, Asim. I think it is crazy money that we're talking about. 70 million euros, 85 million euros for Luis Diaz. It's great. It's a great ROI, isn't it? Considering how much we paid for him at Porto. We bought him as a 24, 25-year-old. He is 28, 29 in January. If you're recouping double of what you paid pretty much, then you do have to accept the deal. I get where Gina's saying that, look, I'm more inclined to keeping him at Liverpool. But I think there are players out there on that left wing that can do similar numbers. Once they play with better players, their numbers will go up. We do have Gakpo as that insurance policy, who had a very good season. I know he got injured towards the sort of end of the season, and it took him a few games in to get back into rhythm again before the season closed. So we do have Gakpo, but I think the money that's being bandied about, Asim, it's a deal that the board for sure will look at and more inclined to accept than rather giving him an extension or just keeping him for the next.
Avi, do you think the club has told Luis Diaz that we're not going to give you a new contract?
I think the money that he could get elsewhere, I think we've said we're not going to be offering you that. I think there may be a contract on the table to say, look, these are not slightly, but better terms. But the money that you could get out in Saudi or even Barcelona, perhaps, we're just not going to be, there's no justification for that. So I think that's where the situation is. I think it's a fluid situation, Asim, this one. I don't think the player is itching to leave, as we've seen previously with some South American players. And we're not itching to really sell him. But if you're getting offers for 70 to 85 million euros, you're accepting that.
You say that, and that's the media pitch that Liverpool are perplexed. That's the word that was the buzzword about a week ago. Liverpool are perplexed as a club. Where has this speculation come from? But at the same time, we don't want to give him a new contract. And at the same time, Luis Diaz himself was quoted in saying that he's talking to other clubs, Avi. Something's not right.
The press conference midweek for Colombia, that was a bit of a weird one. But I think it's good that he's being transparent, Asim. I don't think he's disrespecting the football club, Liverpool, in any instance. I think he's saying, look, there are clubs that are, there is some interest. That I've spoken to a few clubs. But right now, I'm also happy at Liverpool Football Club.
Well, he's making the club look stupid then.
No, because
you are, Avi. If the player is telling you publicly saying, I'm talking to other clubs, but the club themselves are saying, no, we don't want to sell this player. He's indispensable. Where the speculation is coming from.
Have the club outrightly said that he's staying? That we don't want him to leave?
We're perplexed about the speculation. Effectively, saying he's off sale.
Which source?
Publicly, anyway. Huh?
Which source does that come from?
That came from the Paul Joss article. So you can see it as a a feed from the club. Then it's not any other journalist.
Fair enough.
They might not believe it themselves. They might be pushing him towards a bigger offer. But my question was to you is it does make the club look a bit stupid, no, Chin?
Look, I'll be honest with you. I think the player and Liverpool have got some sort of agreement. Saying,
Who
okay,
the
look,
player and
player
the
and the
Liverpool?
club.
And the
Look,
club.
yeah. In a sense, look, we're not going to offer you crazy terms. Go out there. If you can get us 85 million, we want you to stay. But if you can go and get us 80 million plus, whoever you want to speak to, you do it. If you want to go, fine. If not, you're going to stay with this football club. You're not going to go. We've seen that, these things happen. And I think that's why he's trying to push. He tried to go to Barcelona. They came with an offer. That was always going to be his first choice. Their offer was nowhere near the value Liverpool, what Liverpool valued Diaz at. And now he's probably going to, if he can, try to maneuver away where it will be about the money. And look, I can't begrudge him either, if I'm honest with you. I know he's 28. He's been on, I know it's easy to say peanuts, but peanuts in terms of football terms, contracts. So, to be fair, I've got look, I'm easy. I don't want him to really go. If he goes, I've got no issue with it. I think most fans are, as long as we bring in adequate replacement. Avi mentioned the left winger market. There are other players out there that we could bring in who could probably do the numbers that Diaz did last season. So fair play. But again, I think we're in a really strong position. We hold the cards, and we will do what's best for Liverpool Football Club. I'm easy with it right now, Avi. Avi, would you sell though? If we didn't bring in a 9, would you still sell?
This is how I think it plays out, Asim. I don't think he wants the Saudi move.
You don't think he wants a Saudi move?
I don't think he wants to go Saudi just yet. I tell you why. The World Cup is coming next year. He will probably still be selected anyway. He's Colombia's probably best player right now anyway. Yeah. Oh, with
Yeah.
you got John Duran and whatnot. And who's actually playing in the Saudi too. I think Diaz wants his Barcelona move. I think Barcelona have come back maybe and told his agent or whoever is doing the negotiation saying, look, right now we need to offload before we even think about buying you. We've seen the interest. We know Deco has played some kind of part previously with Liverpool, Fabinho to Liverpool, and obviously he's one of Barcelona's sort of transfer strategists when it comes to deals. I think they need to offload first before they think about Luis Diaz, and it might be a situation where they've just told Luis Diaz to hold fire. We will come in for you, but it won't be just yet. There's 3-4 players they need to offload. And they've had a list of players that are available on the market: Fermin Lopez, the Gavis, a few others as well.
Avi, Paul Joyce, I think it was David Ornstein who said it last week that Deco picked up the phone to Liverpool.
And what did he do?
He got rebuffed.
Because maybe they were saying that, look, we're only offering this. There will have to be some middle ground, Asim. I don't think Barcelona can outright say, listen, Barcelona haven't got the Saudi money. They haven't got the Saudi money, okay? They can't offer 75, 85 million euros. I think tops from Barca will get 50 million pounds. Is that enough for Liverpool to say, yes? I don't think so. But if it goes down a few weeks, a month down the line, I think Liverpool might have to succumb and say, okay, look, if you really want to leave, we'll accept 50 to 60 million pounds for the player. I know 85 million euros is what the talk is in Saudi from Al-Nassr, but I don't think his mindset is Saudi right now.
It doesn't. This is why Liverpool playing hardball. Is Liverpool have said to him, listen, if we're getting 70 million, we'll only accept 70 million quid. So go to Barcelona if you really want the move, or either you stay at this football club or you go to a team that's going to pay you 70 million quid. Choice is yours. So now it's his. When he's saying he's talking to clubs, he's trying to get Barcelona to pay the door. If Barcelona can't pay the door, either you go to Saudi if the bid comes in, or you stay. That's it. It's pretty straightforward.
And Asim, he's not one to down tools anyway. We know that. I think Luis Diaz is not one to down.
Yeah, to be fair to him, yeah.
If he wasn't to get his deal to Barcelona or Saudi or whatnot, he's not going to down tools. So in that sense, I think, like Gina says, like he doesn't want him to be sold. I don't want him to be sold either, but money talks in football now. And that kind of money, 85 million, you go to someone like Real Madrid and say, Aijo for Rodrigo, that could prize him away. And for me, I would take Rodrigo over anyone for that left position berth.
Sticking with Diaz, Chin, if he does go, then what? Do we have a plan? Do we have someone lined up? Do we have a deadline for him? Let's say it happens in the last week. The thing about Diaz is he can play in 3 positions,
Yep.
Chin. So, yeah, we might have someone lined up, but they also need to be versatile. Do you think Liverpool are? We also heard last week Liverpool were doing their due diligence in Rayan Cherki. They were waiting for the answer from Florian Wirtz and his camp, but also doing the groundwork on other deals in case he says no. Do you think Liverpool are doing that right now when it comes to Luis
100%.
Diaz?
100%, Asim, because look, we talk about doing the groundwork. The groundwork on Gordon was already done last season. There are going to be new players on the market that Liverpool will definitely would have done their groundwork on. I think one of the keys with Liverpool we have to understand is it's there are a lot of moving parts to this. If Liverpool bring in a 9,
Yeah.
a proper 9, and we can say, okay, we can live with Gakpo then for till Jan. Maybe we can wait because we've bought in a proper 9, a top class 9. I'm talking about, yeah. Then we can move. If we haven't bought in a 9, and then there definitely will be a deadline because we need to bring in a player. Deadlines at the end of August. The season will have already kicked off. We ain't waiting around for Luis Diaz or Barcelona to decide what they want to do. We will tell them straight. This is your deadline. Either you abide, you box the player off, and you pay the door, or you do one. I think Luis Diaz would respect that as well because he probably doesn't want this saga to go on for the next few months either. Nobody does. So we'll just have to go. They'll definitely, man. Liverpool will always have, even with Florian Wirtz, there was 2 or 3. Simons, you mentioned, Shirky, we went to visit. There's always options 2 and 3, but we will always try and get our number 1. And hopefully, if Diaz does go, look, I don't know who number 1 target is. I think it will be Gordon, if I'm honest. But if Liverpool do go in for him, I think we will box him off because the players that we can go for, I think they get all gettable, and I think they'll all come to Liverpool if we went in hard.
I think there's no way that this data team and the recruitment team leave this to the last week of the transfer window. There's no way. We'll just flatly say no. If we know that we've got to do legwork after that to get a left winger in, we'll lead out. Like Anthony Gordon, there's no chance you'll get Anthony Gordon with 6-7 days to go to close because then that keeps Newcastle, that crippled Newcastle on that left. I know they've got Harvey Barnes, but can he really stay over a 38-game season? I'm not too sure. But yeah, it's one that won't linger on for too long. Within sort of the next 2 weeks, 3 weeks, before ideally pre-season starts, we'll get one answer or another when it comes to Luis Diaz's future.
But I think it's just Luis Diaz either stays at Liverpool and sees out his contract, or he goes to Saudi. I don't see how he gets his Barcelona move. I don't see Barcelona stumping up the money that we want for him.
Then I think he'll stay for another year and then go next summer.
How many years will he have left next summer?
1.
Yeah, then maybe. But has he missed out on the money? He's already 30. He's already 30 then.
The stance coming out of Liverpool right now is they don't want to offer him a contract or give him renewed terms with a massive pay rise. I don't think they're giving him that. And the way he came across in that interview, he goes, look, I'm still got 2 years at Liverpool. I'm happy here, but I am talking to other clubs. So it's a weird one. I think it was a slight PR sort of flaw on his side of what the words that he was coming out with. Obviously, the translation and whatnot in in the Portuguese or in Spanish, what he speaks. I think that didn't help matters. And we've seen this as well when South Americans go out to the national countries and they've got the press, the South American press that probe them. They do let it slip. I think we saw it with Phil Coutinho many years ago. I think we've seen it with Darwin over the last sort of 18 months or the last year. And this is no different to the Luis Diaz situation. But I think the club are relaxed when it comes to Luis Diaz. Darwin, however, Asim, this is where I want to pick your brain. It doesn't seem that he fancies Saudi then. And this is the question that we sort of asked yesterday. We went around the table and said, who in Europe is ready to take that plunge?
Yeah, I was discussing it this afternoon as well. And is that the orange device?
That's actually a call from United Arab Emirates. I'll take it later on.
Are we getting taken over?
No. I might get taken over, but not the club.
Avi, Darwin Nunez, I think there was an element of truth. and I forgot exactly what the details of that. Remember when press conference, the reports came out about if he starts another game or if he hits a certain number of starts, that we'll have to give another extra 5 million to Benfica. I think there's an element of truth in that, and hence why when he was getting close to it, obviously he was going to straight about it, wasn't he, in press conferences? I think there's an element of truth. £5 million is a lot of money, even to rich football clubs. And I think if we weren't like going to walk the league, then he might have a role. If we had some injuries, we might have, it might have forced our hand a bit. But I think Darwin Nunez doesn't have a future at the club. But the good thing is I think he's still got 2-3 years left on his contract, and we hold the cards when it comes to Darwin Nunez in terms of him wanting to move away. But I think he will leave. I think there might be a bit of leeway on behalf of the club as well. I thought you froze there for a second. Your eyes went a bit weird on screen. But in terms of a fee, Avi, with Luis Diaz, I think there's a lot more transfer value, a lot more demand, even though there's only Barcelona and a few Saudi clubs. At the moment, there's not a big demand for Darwin Nunez, and maybe Liverpool might have to compromise. The fact that the what Gene was on about is slot-like same. The club are relaxed. If he stays, brilliant. We've got a really good player who scored 17, 18 goals last season. In Darwin Nunez, there's a lack of trust, a break of trust. So he doesn't want him in the squad, and he needs those funds to whether he brings in another centre back, a midfielder, or a number 9. But my general thoughts, and the more I think about it, and how the number 9 market is, Avi, I'm slightly worried at the moment. It's pure feeling, it's a pure prediction, early prediction. I'm thinking how I'm trying to get into the minds of Richard Hughes and Slot, and we don't have anything to go by. But the more I think about it, I think Wirtz is the big investment this summer. And if Isak is not realistic and available, if Julian Alvarez is not realistic and available, and then we're getting priced out, who I know for a fact that we do like Hugo Ekitike, but we're getting priced out at them at the moment. The club and the nerds do not value him at 80, 90 million euros or whatever Frankfurt want. And they've got Champions League. They will demand a fee, and they generally get it. We saw it with a few other transfers they've had over the last 2-3 years. And again, most recently with Mamouche. I'm thinking, especially with Frimpong coming over as well, I think Chiesa will leave. I think Darwin Nunez will leave. But I think Frimpong will cover Chiesa, where he does a bit of right-wing shifts and covers Salah and stuff like that, where he covers right back as well. If we're led to believe what Paul Joyce mentioned it, that Liverpool and the club see Bradley as number 1 choice, then Frimpong will obviously compete with him. And you never know with Bradley's record, but I think the versatility of Frimpong might see him cover a couple of positions. And I think, as things stand, Liverpool might see the number 9 market as not good enough, and they don't see value in it. And I think they might go for someone like Gakpo, Salah, Diaz, Frimpong, Jota, and Wirtz as the 6 attackers.
But if they sell Diaz, then what? And we bring in a winger who can't. Okay, argument's sake, we buy Nico Williams, Asim. I'm just giving. He can't play a 9. Yeah, we all know that he's not a. He's a touchline winger. So he's gonna. You say we buy him. He's Diaz's replacement. You've left you. Then you've got Diego Jota, who's your only 9. Really, Darwin's gone. Chiesa's gone. Who maybe done a shift there.
But maybe we have to take the club's comments on Luis Diaz at face value, then, Gene. That they really want to keep him.
I'll be honest with you. I can't see Wirtz as a 9, as a false 9 either, Asim.
Avi, we're buying a 9.
Who is that 9?
I don't know, Asim.
We're not spending 80, 90 million pounds on Ekitike.
Okay, TK, that's fine. I can accept that. I think, look, How can you sell all these players, Asim, and rely on Jota as your number 9, or a guy that's always injured? It just doesn't make sense. And the one that can sort of play there, you sell him for a touchline winger. That doesn't make sense. You have to buy in. You have to at least buy. If Jota's going, Chiesa's going. Sorry, Darwin's going, Chiesa's going. You have to replace one of them with a 9. Darwin has to be replaced with a number 9,
But Gene, you
or a
have to
guy
understand,
that can play there.
but you have to understand he wants a facilitator. So he
But who's
doesn't want
coming in?
Darwin.
Who's coming in for Darwin first and foremost?
I
He's saying
think Wirtz.
nobody.
Huh?
Oh, sorry,
Wirtz.
yeah.
No. Which club is going to come in for Darwin?
Who?
You
we have-
can't just say Darwin is going to go to
Gee,
Saudi.
Avi, we haven't seen the links. We were prepared. The reason why we rejected reportedly around 70 million pounds in January for Darwin Nunez is because we thought, one, we don't want to risk any injuries if in case our title aspirations go down the gutter, and two, they will come back. Saudi Arabia will come back, and I think that's the hope. But now the Club World Cup has turned up. Who's the two teams, or who's the one team from? Is it Al Hilal?
Al Hilal.
Yeah. So their attentions, their first choice was Osimhen. First of all, Kerkez apparently rejected you because he wants to move to Premier League. So Darwin Nunez, at the moment, there's no concrete links to Darwin Nunez with Saudi Arabia.
I think there might be. I think there's a big possibility that some European some European teams are looking at Darwin Nunez, and don't shoot the messenger. But I think we could be looking at a loan deal for him.
Yeah, I don't want to see no loan deal for him, bro. I'll be straight with you. He has to be sold. We need to be able to recuperate whatever we can. 45 million quid, take it. He goes on loan at the stinker. We're getting 20 million for him.
Get rid of deal at 50 million, though. We won't do a deal at 50 million. There's no club in Europe ready to pay 60, 70 million for him. So maybe he goes out on loan, does something out on loan for a
loan
season, and someone comes in for him.
Loan with obligation to buy TK, I can accept that, Avi. I'm okay with that. There's an obligation to pay 40, 45 million TK, whatever. I want him gone. I want him out of this, and I needed it, and we have to buy a replacement for him. He's not good enough. Yeah, he's simply not good enough to play for Liverpool Football Club. Get rid of him, sell him, cut your losses, whatever it is, you move. That's how it has to be.
Why a loan fee?
All with obligation to buy it. Obligation.
Are we really there at the moment, Avi?
No,
if it means that we're struggling to sell, maybe that's what we have to take.
Realistically, and I was doing some research last night, and I was looking at today. I was looking at Barcelona's front line. I look at Lewandowski's 37, 38. In a weird world, could we see Darwin Nunez do something that Diego Forlan did many years ago? United went to Atletico Madrid, started banging goals. Could we see Darwin maybe going to Barcelona instead of Luis Diaz this summer? And look, and Barcelona have a habit of buying the Memphis Depays, the Patrick Aubameyang. They've done weird deals in the past as well.
If Darwin Nunez doesn't have the technical ability to play in a Liverpool team, he most certainly doesn't have the technical ability to play in a Barcelona team, who play a lot more on the ground tours. They've still got the little tiki-taka business going on.
Slower league, though.
I can't see him. They need a Lewandowski who's comfortable at feet.
It's a slower league, though, Asim. More time to think. I think that's what he might need, more time to think.
Off the bench option, at best.
Look, I think the Saudis are going to come in for him, man. I'll be straight with you. I think this player, the window's just open.
He might not be here. With World Cup year coming, you can't just assume every player wants to play in Saudi. But no matter how much money,
I'm not saying every player wants to play. I'm saying Darwin wants to play. I'm not saying every other player wants to play. Darwin Nunez, with respect, you saw the interview he did about going to Saudi. I think he flipping jump ship straight. I'll be straight. I think Darwin Nunez gets an offer. He goes himself. He gets an offer. If there's no offer for him from a club like an Atletico or anything like that, and the Saudi offer comes in, he's off. I think he'll be off. Okay, even if it's World Cup year, you're still going to pick him. Or Kunene, you're still going to pick Darwin Nunez as number 9, aren't they? They haven't got another number 9 who's good enough to lead the line. His record for Uruguay is pretty good. So. Nah, man. Look, we have to. He'll go this summer. fairly confident. He might not got enough from Al Hilal in this week, but I think he still goes this summer.
Which you go on, Avi. Go on. I want to ask you, am I overthinking things? It's just a prediction.
Yeah, you are. I just thought I'd tell you.
Gattuso could do the 9. Diaz could do the 9 if
He can do a job.
But then,
when you really think about it,
what confidence has Jota given us this season that he could play and lead the 9?
I don't think Jota.
The problem is that we're not completely rebuilding. We can't be looking at. You can't be saying to me at the same time, I mean, if there's no market in the 9, we'll have to go with the Diaz, the Chiesas, the Jotas, the Gattuso.
What do you want?
We want to retain this. We want to retain the title. You can't go to this season without having a recognised 9.
I genuinely think, and we all agree upon it, that they want Alexander Isak. But if they're coming out with an astronomical figure of, if they're going to say you paid 150 million euros for Florian Wirtz, a 9, generally speaking, guys, who bags more, has generally speaking, has more of a value in the transfer market. Agreed?
Yeah.
So if they're looking at 150 million euros, they're going to quote us 175 with Champions League. Are we going to do that deal? Are we hell?
Yeah, listen to me. First and foremost, don't suggest Avi Gakpo in a 9, please. You don't mind me having a go at you, please. That I don't have argument. Bro, I don't want to see him anywhere near a 9. He had a really good season playing from the left. That's his position. Please stay there. We don't want to see you in a 9. If anybody that can do it is Diaz. He had a few things. He linked up well. He was pretty decent. I can accept that.
If Diaz goes then?
This is what I'm telling you. This was my argument to you a little while ago. Is as long as we buy a proper number 9, you can't sell Diaz, Avi, for 85 million euros.
Let me finish.
Let me finish. Please, let me finish. Right wing, Salah and Frimpong. Down the middle.
Which is a joke, by the way. If we're really considering,
why was it? It was Salah and Chiesa last year.
I think it's a joke if we're really considering Frimpong as a higher further up.
But you have to understand that. That guy who plays second fiddle to Salah, he has to be that sort of option, Avi, because he's not going to get a chance.
Carry on with the list.
He doesn't get injured. So who's gonna naturally play second fiddle? Where are we gonna get a 60 million player to sit on the bench and play and watch Salah week in, week out? It's impossible.
I'd rather keep the Chiesa then.
Oh no, he's gone. We'll keep the song though. And then you have to understand Diaz and Gakpo on the left wing, yeah, and Jota, Wirtz, and Diaz in the false 9 as well, Gene. So you still got 6 attackers.
But you're saying that Diaz probably leaves too, no?
No. I named Diaz. We can't go with 5 attackers. Gene said, what if Diaz leaves? And then I said, look, what if we have to take the club's comments at face value, where they really want to keep him? Because they're not seeing value in the number 9 market. So they're thinking, okay, maybe go with Diaz.
It's not good enough.
Gene, I probably don't agree with it. Every fan wants.
It's not good enough. Nowhere near good enough, Yara.
Okay, give me your solution then.
We have to go buy number 9. We have to go and buy. You can't have Asim. You're making 9.
Give me a 9. That's realistic.
You mentioned a guy called Jota. Jota, a guy with respect, 5 years injured. Yeah. So let's just put a line across him. I'm going to be open and honest. Let's put a line across him. And I'm his biggest fan. I supported him. Avi knows. I gave Avi a load of shit. 2 years on a trot. Avi said sell him. I said don't because he scored goals. This year, I think he's shown us enough to think, you know what? He's finished. Meaning his injuries are not there and his finishing is not there. He's not as explosive as he was a couple of years ago. So land models, yeah. Then you're left with a false 9 who's brand new to the football club, number 10, who's actual 10. You want to play him, and then you've got Luis Diaz, right? Who's primarily a left winger who can do a good job. Asim, come on, man.
Home games,
we're going for.
We don't want Jobsworth anymore. We don't want Jobsworth players in there.
There you go, Avid. I agree.
Look, I agree with you, but you both still haven't given me a realistic number 9.
Okay.
One second, Asim.
Give me a realistic 9.
I'll give me someone. Darwin Nunez gets sold.
Yeah, I agree.
I'm going to be honest with you. I would sell Diego Jota at the same time, personally.
Okay.
If you said to me this, then it's worth it. You said to me, okay, you know what? You get rid of both. You've got what? 90 million quid?
Jota's going to go for 30 million, China.
30, 40 million, can you get English proven, whatever. I think an English club will be in the market for a striker who can probably get 30, 40 million quid. Worst case, okay, Darwin 50 million, 40, 50 million. You go about 80, 90 million pound there for both of them, right? That's when you go and say, okay, now you got 80, 90, we have to go and buy a proper 9. Asim, if it means putting in another 30, 40 million to get the elite, that's what you'd have to do.
I look at the elite.
In theory, I agree with you. I don't think
you have to do. But that's what you have to. That's what you have to do.
Elite? Boy, if are you going to go spend 80, 90 million on Ekitike? Because that's probably 2/3 of the value of Isak. What they're going to quote you.
Let me give you a name. Let me give you a name.
Okay.
Let me give you a name. Let me give you a name. Chini, you've explained. Asim's explained. Let me give you a name. Look, we want the elite. Elite being either an Isak or Julian Alvarez. Let's just say they're stretched too far. Yeah. Honestly, a player that I think could do the 9, more than do a 9. Don't know. Don't know.
Well, this is it. You want elite, and then he's actually promoting him.
I honestly let me see the name first.
Oh, go on.
I honestly think, and he's got huge amounts of potential. We saw him break through a season ago. He had a bit of injuries, went on loan to West Ham. Even Ferguson.
He just 2 minutes ago told him, Asim, we don't want second-rate options. We don't want fill-in jobs.
No, I don't want jobs worth doing the 9. Even Evan.
Just go. Me and Tim without handling from here.
There's huge potential and upside there.
Yeah, how can you tell me 5 minutes ago, Asim, we can't accept fill-in jobs? I'd rather keep bloody Diogo Jota than Ivan Ferguson, whatever his name is.
Man, sometimes, Avi, I think, do you even watch the game? Do you actually understand football? Or do you just love just giving out any baloney names just for the sake of it? Yard? I'm telling you, don't sign. I'd rather keep Darwin Nunez. And that's me saying I would rather keep Darwin Nunez over this guy that you just mentioned, Avi.
He got injuries, Yard, this last
year. Oh, Yara is not
good enough, man. He's on a wind-up.
You're just being...
A year ago, he came through Brian. He was brilliant. Everyone said he looks like the second coming of Rooney. Just the Irish version. When he first came through, man, he had everything about his game. He got injured. He's had a bad...
goal kites, yeah, and Avi, come on, man. Rooney.
Avi, are you being serious before I carry on?
We'll come back to the name. We'll come back to the player. Hopefully, during the course of next season.
All right, you've had your go. You've had your go now. Gene, you have your go. You give me someone that's elite and gettable. You've sold Jota. You've sold.
I'm going to look at his stats.
I'll be straight with you. If I've got the money, I'll go and spend the money on the two names that's out there. You gain Harvey Elliott money. You have to go and spend the money. This is what it takes. You get rid of them. You put in 40, 50 million pounds and say, right, there you go, 140 million, mate. Give me that player. Then you've got, and guess what? Then you've got Alvarez, Diaz, Gakpo. You've got a proper team, and then you can sell your Latupatus. Elliott will bring in money. This is what you have to do to go and make a proper statement. Yes, don't get me wrong. I'll be over the moon with this. I'm over the moon with Wirtz. But this is domination, and if you want real domination, this is what you have to do. Look, people are mentioning Asim. I would love Asim, and everybody knows he's probably the number one gettable buy that I'd want. But we ain't paying his wages.
What about Kudus as a 9? Kudus is a 9.
No, I don't want to see him as a 9.
Because
but he can work as a 9.
You feel the right as well, Asim, instead of Salah.
Did you watch the show? I got told, not by a great source, if I'm really honest, that we are interested in him. Which then got me thinking that how we are seeing Wirtz. But when he mentioned it, I thought, you know what? Now that we're getting Wirtz, I think, look, I want Liverpool to go buy a 19. Let me make that clear. I just don't. I think what they've shown here is they've buy the best in class. In Frimpong it was a unbelievable deal, bargain deal. One of the best in terms of numbers when it comes to the metrics that they were looking for. Kerkez, one of the best left backs in the league over the last 18 months. And then Wirtz, one of the best, if not the best, number 10. I think they want the best in class, Gene. And they don't mind paying for the next open, scale them up and become, get a 21, 22-year-old and by 2-3 years' time, they become world class. I don't mind that. But I can't see them spending 80, 90 million pounds on Ekitike. 60, 65 million was the figure that was, spread around in the early part of the summer window. But now with Chelsea coming in, and the problem is now, Gene, is that we mentioned it last show that the whole of Europe, Premier League are looking for strikers. Everyone. Chelsea are looking for a new striker. Liverpool are looking for a striker. Arsenal are looking for a striker. Man United are looking for a striker. And the demand has gone up and so has the price.
Asim, what about Nkunku? I know he's had injuries.
There you go. You answered it for me, Avi. Very, very talented. Very talented. But I don't think either he can make his mind up and Chelsea can't make his mind up. Is he a left winger? Is he a false nine that can play? He's a good footballer, but just
hypothetically speaking, would we invite this deal? Darwin Nunez to Arsenal, and we take Gabriel Martinelli as a 9.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
Avi, are you in the wind up today?
I mean, you just know you just
Martinelli's far better 9 than he's a left winger. He started off as a 9 too.
God, man. Avi, I know you begin to piss me off today. Again, properly, like look who you're coming up with. Darwin to Arsenal, and we did Arsenal.
Oh, we got the Arsenal.
Sort yourself out, man. Before I guess, man, with dreads too much. Look, I'm being honest. You're just talking shit.
Jurgen loved Martinelli, by the way.
By the way,
you guys are not. And Arsenal has 2 left wingers.
You both have not convinced me about a deal. I know you've given me a Julian Alvarez who go splash 140 million down on the table.
Okay, then go and sign Victor Osimhen then.
Okay, that's something at least.
Victor Osimhen, I've mentioned so many times, bro. He'll get you 20 plus. He's an idiot. He's a bit of he goes to AFCON. I get all of that.
So who would your 6 attackers be then, Sheen? Salah, Gakpo, Diaz.
Look,
Osimhen.
I don't want to play champ manager, but I want to be a bit realistic. If I had the choice right now and we're keeping Diaz, we're keeping Diaz, I want Osimhen.
So Osimhen,
Diaz in the false 9.
That's 4.
Yeah. Salah, so Gakpo.
Yeah.
And obviously Florian Wirtz as the thingy in it. That's it. And obviously Frimpong to cover. That makes sense. But no, one more thing I want to say is
have you sold Nunez and Jota then, yeah?
No, I look, even if we kept Jota then, we can keep him. Because Nunez's money covers thingies. So I'll keep Jota if we need, but ideally I would get rid. If the money was there.
Avi, realistically, who would your 6 be? Realistically, don't give me.
Realistically, say we keep Diaz, Gakpo.
So you've got Diaz, Gakpo, Salah. So you've got your left wing sorted. Give me your 2 down the middle.
So you got Salah, Wirtz. That's your 4.
So Wirtz is in. You're counting Wirtz as the number 10 / doing shifts at false 9 as well.
If you have to be.
Okay.
We've got.
You got 2 to go. Are you keeping Jota?
Jota,
yeah.
And then on a serious one, and I'm
same as mine at the moment, by the way.
I honestly have been serious about some of the shouts today. They haven't been all like thingy, and you'll see even Evan Ferguson this season, a full clean season at Brighton, you'll see him bang. I would have to look at someone like Lois Openda, who can cover 3 positions too up top as a 9, as a right, as a left winger. He is a good finisher. He's had a bad season this season, not as prolific as his previous seasons. But Lois Openda, 25. I know the club has liked him before. I would maybe look at him. Kareem Konate would be a great shout, P60, but he's had an injury as well at Salzburg. But he's a beast in waiting too.
Okay, TK. I thought I was going to go the same as me. He went
how much would you pay for Victor Osimhen? How much are you willing to give Victor Osimhen on a
salary wise?
No, salary. What would you for a player like him?
200k a week.
How much?
200k a week.
He's already on 200.
200k a week.
You'd have to go.
200k a week. Victor Osimhen
has played well for Monaco. Is he ex-Arsenal? I think it was ex-Arsenal academy. Mika Biereth. Maybe for next season, not now.
Nusa. Who's Nusa?
Antonio Nusa. He plays. He's that Norwegian winger.
Okay. I think if he's got trophies at the forefront of his mind, Avi Achin, then I don't think we pay more than 250 for Osimhen.
Is that a number 9's wage?
I think it is.
Well, if he guarantees us 30 goals, it is, isn't it? It's not. It's
No,
not
I'm being honest. So what? So you, with respect, if you want Julian Alvarez, you want Alexander Isak. What are their wages going to be if we sign them 120, 130 million pounds? You think they're happy with 250 grand a week?
Minimum 300 for Isak.
Minimum 300. Minimum. Both of them.
But I think Isak is at a different level to Osimhen, though.
Yes, I can accept. No, I'm just saying that. But he's going to be on a longer contract. Yeah, you Victor Osimhen ain't signing less than 300 grand a week.
I'll give Osimhen something like this to offer him 250.
Yeah, goal bonuses. Look, that's standard. He's worth that money though.
Is he not a risk?
No.
He's played in the Italian league. He's played in Turkey last season. Is he not a risk at that kind of
Why?
money?
What's the risk?
Is he a risk for you, Avi?
Yeah, he is. I don't see too much in his game outside of just scoring goals. I don't know how he is linking up play and.
Bro, he holds the ball up well. He's a
he's
a menace.
Turkey.
He's a menace, man. He's a menace, bro. I'm telling you, the guy is bro. Avi, he guarantees you 20, man. He will guarantee you 20 league goals.
Boniface.
That's the difference.
Forget Boniface. Ollie Watkins, Asim stopgap for 2 years.
There's a lot of shouts for him in the chat, Avi. No, I wouldn't take that. He lost his place to Marcus Rashford at Villa, and we want him to lead the line at Liverpool for even if you want it as a stopgap. I'd be quite disappointed.
I've got a name.
Go on.
Pay 75 million, 80 million for John Duran.
Oh, yeah, look at the wages he's on out there. He's fucking on 350 a week.
Is he?
He's going to come to England with a. He knows he's not going to get them wages, but he'd be a signing one.
Would you take it?
It does make me think that someone like John Duran, who's earning that much money now at 21 at Al-Nassr, he's at, isn't he? If he was to take a pay cut, like how much would he?
500 grand a week.
Yeah,
he ain't leaving.
We had a super chat earlier on when we were talking about Luis Diaz. Apologies, Alex. Thank you very much for your super chat, mate. He says Sadio Mane must be the sick of the sight of Lucio if he ends up at Al-Nassr.
Osimhen's got AFCON as well next year. That's a good point.
Yeah, he does.
But then that's what I mean. We need to have makeshift players who can play that 9 role during that period of 4 or 5 weeks because Salah will be out as well. Do we really want to go and do that again?
Someone said Osimhen's. Is it? Did they qualify? Someone was talking about an African team.
Stasis is another one that I want to see this season more of. Serhu Guirassy is 29 though. I know he's banged for Dortmund this season, but he's 28, 29 now.
When are these deals getting announced?
Oh, I didn't qualify. Kudos. That's a good shout.
Yes, that was kudos. Yeah, thank you very much, Trishan.
I knew Ayush, we are getting your message. Put Ayush up. You don't need to do capital letters, by lowercase is fine.
Aki says it's Stasin, not Stasison.
Whatever his name is. What's his name? Stasin.
He looks like a proper bagsman, buddy.
Yeah, but again, we can't take a risk on him, can we?
Of course. Avi, when are these deals getting announced? I don't think we're gonna get. I think it's the 10th. Is it tomorrow? The deadline. There was no rush on behalf of Liverpool to get these deals over the line. But do you think it's a culmination of a couple of things, but in particular where Liverpool want to respect the selling club? We've just seen Bournemouth more or less tie up a deal for a left back from France in Rennes. That's the Kerkez replacement, effectively. Do you think Liverpool are showing respect to these selling clubs and saying, okay, look, we're not in a rush. These guys have, in theory, had games for the national sides. Also, Liverpool making the biggest signing in their history, want to make a statement in terms of how they announced the deal and all that sort of stuff. We care about social media, don't we, these days? So, and in the meantime, these guys have got enough time to get their deals done. Every other minute I see Jono tweet about Bayern Leverkusen. They all the time, they seem to be linked with a player coming into the club. So if they announce it, Wirtz has officially got the money, all of a sudden, especially with Leverkusen when they invest into their side with 3, 4, 5 replacements covering the whole squad, all of a sudden the prices go up. So do you think there's a relationship, an understanding between Liverpool and the selling clubs, Bournemouth and Leverkusen, that is yours, we'll sort it out, but let us buy and do our business, and then you can do what you want?
Yeah, I think there's a bit of that. Leverkusen will obviously need replacements, and they don't want to be outsmarted by the opposition clubs that they'll be purchasing their players from. Wirtz, you might need 2 players to replace a player of Wirtz's ilk, or even 3. Remember, something similar happened with Spurs when they got rid of Bale. They had an influx of 6, 7 players, didn't they? And for the transfer fee, so I think they'll be looking at replacements and maybe holding off confirming the Wirtz to Liverpool deal. But Asim, I do think that the end of the week is key for both deals, Kerkez and Wirtz. I think end of this week we will hear something. I know we probably said this last week as well, but end of the week for me is the deadline where we confirm both deals. An outside shout for the number 9. No one's mentioned him. One of my previous favourites, Amin Guri. 13 goals in 10 games for Marseille at the back end of this. He was absolutely brilliant. The goals that he scored, it looks as if he's finally set.
So you think he's an elite option then?
He's not an elite option, but he could hit those.
He's a shit option.
No, he's not.
Come on, man. Elite option. Yeah, no, I thought mine now. We're talking thingy, guri, nice. That's me. Sort yourself out, man. I mean, you're just taking the piss.
I'm not. I'm not. I've tweeted about Amin Guri for 3-4 years now.
I know you have. I mean, he's shit.
No, he's not shit. He's not shit.
How old is he?
He's 25 now. He's had a great partnership at Marseille alongside the idiot, which we won't mention on this show.
TK.
But for those that are laughing at Makaudzi of Lyon, he's a very effective player, the Georgian. Very effective player.
But Avi, what pisses me off about you is whenever I talk about number 9s, you previous shows as well, we're shopping on the top table and this and that, and then you give me 2 names that think, okay, are they at the top table? Are they a filling job? Or are they prime strikers?
Isaac's a stretch too far. Alvarez, I don't know how you prize him away from Atletico Madrid.
So you agree with me now then?
No, I said it from the beginning until I got some intel that Liverpool love Julian Alvarez. But how much can we realistically prize him away this summer from Atletico? I'm not too sure.
Tika. Okay. Let's ask the chat. Realistically speaking, do you think Liverpool will get a striker this summer? Yes or no? It'd be interesting to see what the chat think.
Could Liao do the 9 role, Gene?
He's like Nico Williams. They can't do 9s.
Yes.
Gordon can, Avi.
Plenty of yeses.
Gordon can do 9.
Sure, he can. Effectively.
Better than the numbers your guys put up. I can tell you that now.
What Matata? Asim Matata?
You're fucking pissing me off. Listen, Junai, because this guy's he's just aiming, throwing names out there for no reason.
What's wrong with the numbers this season?
They better do.
We're not gonna.
I hope Liverpool buy a striker.
Goncalo Ramos is an interesting one of PSG to see if he stays or whether he goes out elsewhere as well to play this season.
So he's another elite striker for you then, yeah?
He's a potent goal scorer, Asim, for sure.
He's not elite though.
How many elite? You keep using the word elite. There's very few in the world that are elite.
Julian Alvarez,
number 9 striker.
We're gonna get. Honestly, I think we're gonna go.
Elite, Asim, you're talking stupid numbers. Elite. You can't say is he elite. You find someone that could become elite.
This is your argument. We need to shop at the top table.
Asim, like I say to you all the time, when you say, are we getting a 9? I say, Dwaka.
Okay. Let's see what happens.
I mean, we'll get a 9. You know, we're going to get a 9.
Retewigwi is another name that keeps popping up. Retewigwi. I know he doesn't rate him, But Argentinian-born Italian striker. He said that he reminds me of Barini. He's got finishing in his locker, left, right foot, header.
Okay. Would you take him, Avi? Not him.
Bomba. Yeah,
This lad. Would you take him?
Fucking no.
No.
No way. He's not. Some players, are just built for that Italian league. Yeah, and they will score shitloads in the Italian league. As soon as they leave and come to the Premier League, they would absolutely, it should be. Shevchenko's another prime example. Shevchenko came to Chelsea at 27, 28. Potent goal scorer, but not in the Premier League. It's
Yeah, but he
different.
did come towards the end of his career, Avi. Come on,
Yeah,
yeah.
he came at 28.
Yeah, come on, man. He was slipping. He
28.
decided in Champions League week, year in, year out. He just he was playing in the hardest league. It was the hardest league in the world then.
Martinez would never do it in the Premier League.
It was, but don't mention Shevchenko because he was one of the best strikers in the world at that time.
Would you look at Lautaro Martinez?
Who?
Lautaro Martinez.
It's not my type. I
You
probably
don't
not.
agree with
Probably
me.
not. But don't bring Shevchenko like he was one of the best strikers in the world at that time.
Crespo came here at a good age, 26.
Shevchenko was 29 when he
Yeah,
joined.
he played at 16.
How old
29.
was Henry Crespo? Oh, let's talk then, innit? If you talk about number 9, let's talk about Henry Crespo as well. Scoring goals for Lazio, Parma. What did he do?
Crespo was a brilliant striker. There's no doubt he's a brilliant striker.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Some players are just built for that league or in the Spanish league.
Crespo was 28.
So during his peak,
Then football.
Mika Biereth needs another season in Monaco. Mika Biereth, you keep mentioning, he needs another season. Like Forlan was brilliant at Atletico Madrid. Went to Inter Milan, had a 31 goal season. Had a 31 goal season at Inter Milan. Forlan, Diego Milito, great goal scorer, but he was never going to do it. Those players don't do it in this league. They're built for certain leagues. The only one that could have done it here at his peak, Samuel Eto'o, 100%. Eto'o was class.
He came too late to Chelsea, innit?
Yeah, but he still had a decent goal scorer.
Okay. I think we do any bombers tonight. Avi, any intel?
Look how he says it to me. There's no bombers at the moment. We're observing the transfer window tomorrow. Listen, just look out for. I think there'll be some interest in midfielders too. I think there'll be interested in some midfielders, defenders. Let's see who we. Huijsen was the big one that got away. Let's see. Let's see who we look at.
Oh, thoughts on Bajetic? We were discussing him yesterday. We didn't even know he had surgery on his hamstring.
Yeah,
now he's got a race to be fit for pre-season, Gene. You were going for him, and you've got more reason now to rule him out. Now we can't even probably sell him, Gene.
Same right back, innit?
Play him up front.
It's a critical summer though for him. It's either do we?
Is someone's gonna be a fucking sound the fucking
no, do we sell him?
man summer? Yes, summer curtsy. It's a critical summer for him.
We're not in a position to loan him anymore. We've got to make a decision: either sell him or we either.
Yeah, please buy a 6, man.
Put Paul Gormley's comment up. Let's give him a bit of exposure. Put it up there, God. Aviation bomber. I'm full of shite and make stuff up. Not really a bomber, though, as we all know that anyway. Well done, Paul. Thank you so much.
Oh, it's all right. I agree with you.
Give yourself a pat on the back. This is what I like. I like people coming. I like
Bajetic. How do you actually pronounce his name then?
Stefan Bajetic.
Bajetic.
Bajcetic.
You don't have
you changed the fucking tune within 30 seconds. Make up your mind.
It's Stefan Bajetic.
Bajetic.
Take it.
Call him
Stefan. His dad was, what was his dad? His dad was not Croatian. Was it Croatian?
Bajtekic.
It's actually Stefan Bajetic. That's his name.
Bajcetic. There's loads in here. Anyway, carry on. What were we going to say? What's happened to the Stiller deal with Real Madrid?
It's cancelled, didn't it?
Do we reignite our interest in him?
Avi, forget that, you're right, Avi. Can I give you a round of applause?
Thank you. Thank you.
Oh wow.
Julian Laurent.
Uh-huh.
He came out today. I saw some news about Aurelium Chouameni. May I go on? Avi, some news
Will
come
we
out,
link
man.
with him?
If there's something come out today, I'm sure Avi has seen it
No
on
way.
the because I saw something online. I thought,
I didn't see. Oh,
Avi, go on, mate. Avi broke the news about a week and a half ago.
you're chatting.
I mean, look, I'll give you your flowers,
rubbish.
though. Right?
Aurelian Chouameni will not be a Real Madrid player this summer.
Will he
Oh,
be
you
a
know, dude,
Wait.
this is Avi. This is what I don't like about you.
Chelsea, Arsenal, Liverpool have had talks with his agent, and I told you guys this 3 weeks ago. Preliminary talks, nothing more, nothing more.
Go on, Avi Mania. I have to give you flowers then. Teak has confirmed that.
Adnan
yes,
says
there was.
£60 million. I think we could even get him for less.
What? Apparently, what's his name? Florentino Perez was at the game yesterday,
No,
and
he's Spanish, isn't he?
well, apparently there was a player that he's going to sign,
Cristiano.
and there were links to Zubamendi to Real Madrid.
I'm surprised that Zubmendi wouldn't go to Real Madrid. The Alonso and stuff like that. The
But
basket.
the reason why I mention it is, Avi, is if he does go, then that opens the door for sure. Many leaving.
Asim, what do you think of Kubo?
We were talking about that sort of guy who's willing to accept, sat on the bench 9 out of 10 times because he's not going to get a game in as a 10. He just gets a game as a right winger. I think at that first leg, I watched him against United. I think it was, and neat and tidy player, can go past the player, very, very, good footballer, but physicality, Harvey. We were just talking about, and how many times have we talked about Harvey Elliott? I can't see him cut it in the Premier League. Lack of physicality, lack of natural speed, and that's one of the reasons why Harvey Elliott probably leaves Liverpool Football Club. We want even our most creative players must have legs, and Szoboszlai in the 10, Florian Wirtz in the 10 do have legs, and if you don't, Arne Slot doesn't want you. Simple as. Would you agree? Would you take him?
No, I was just trying to ask you the question. I wouldn't personally take him, but he's put up decent numbers in the last 3 years.
Avi,
Yeah.
you mentioned this name yesterday.
No, not for us. He suits the Spanish system right now, but not for us. You look at the wingers that he has alongside him. The midfield, the midfield.
Florian Wirtz, he's going to have Luis Diaz and Mohamed Salah. We're not that bad.
Not that bad, but the midfielders as well. There's a pass midfield, isn't it?
Yeah, you're out there. What did they have yesterday in the midfield? They had Pedri. We're not that. We've got McAllister. And we've got Florian Wirtz in the 10. You're making it out like they're like a million miles ahead. They're not. With respect.
What about this? What is Omar Durion of Porto? How many goals has he got this season? I think he scored. He bagged.
Yeah, right. Tiki, he's a decent player, man. I'm not sold on him yet. He's a decent player, though. Yeah, I want some. I don't know. Look, we have to go and spend the dough, man. If you want to go and really make a statement.
Omar That's one. Omar Magnus Agaluche. He's not a. He's not a forward. He's not a striker.
Isn't he linked with a move? No, that was Mastantano's going to Real Madrid, isn't he? Okay, TK, we're done.
I think we're done for the day, Asim.
So Kerkez this week, Florian Wirtz this week. Yes or no?
And Alexander Isak before the summer.
One gets done this week, yes.
And the other one gets officially announced, as in we've agreed a fee.
The other one ongoing, and the other one.
Who gets done this week?
Wirtz.
Putting you on the spot. Wirtz. Gene?
Both get done.
Wow. So both, whether announced or agreed?
No. Meaning, when I said done, meaning agreement.
Okay, fair enough. I agree with you. I think this week, both, you'll hear something. Okay, that's done. I think there's still 650 people in here. We've smashed out an hour again. We do not have an agenda. We just literally switch on the laptops or wherever these boys tune in from, and we just engage with you guys. So we're back tomorrow with a transfer daily. Hopefully,
before we go.
Oh, here we go. Go on, surprise me.
I think we will talk to Porto this summer. That's all I'm saying.
with regarding.
One of their young starlets.
You're not going to give us a
Chat.
name?
Give me a name of one starlet from Porto, because I don't know any starlets.
You know who it is. Do you know who it is?
Me?
You know who it is. The starlet. Rodrigo Mora.
Is this guy? Is this guy?
Oh, Moraya. Yeah. Oh, Avi, I would take him 100%. No doubt about
We
that.
will talk. All I'm saying is, you can close the show out now, Asim. We will be talking. We will have conversations with Porto this summer.
Mora's a Rami player. I give you that, Avi. He's a really good footballer. Maybe not ready yet, but he's a good player.
The one good thing about Liverpool and Porto is we've got a very, very good relationship with Porto, Avi.
Yeah,
And
we
this
have.
stems from the coaches as well. Lenders, Vito Matos.
We give them a 5 million, little
We did.
advance payment for the Diaz deal, didn't we? Because they were going to go into administration, I think it was, if we didn't give them that advance payment.
Grujic as well. We gave a loan and then sold him Grujic.
And a lot of the scouts are a lot in Portugal. A lot.
Yep.
We know that. Okay, people. Thank you very much for listening in. Smash a like. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't. It's a big race to the 20,000 figure. And we will be back. Are you on the Transfer Daily tomorrow, Gene?
Yep.
Have you got Shalbai tomorrow?
No, you've got him on Wednesday.
Have I got him on Wednesday? Okay. Avi, will you join us on the Transfer Daily show to provide some
6 o'clock in the morning.
provide some bombers from bed?
5 o'clock in the morning.
I don't even know what time you guys go live. 12 o'clock.
1 o'clock.
Tomorrow we're going at 12.
5 a.m.
Avi, a bomber from bed.
I'm going to be driving at 5 a.m. tomorrow to the city.
I want to hear a bomber from bed. Imagine Avi sleepy and what he comes out with. He's sober and awake now, so we see what he comes out with. Imagine when he's sleeping. Okay, people, thank you very much. We catch you on the next one. Have a good night, and we see you soon. Bye-bye for now.